Welcome back to Popcorn and Beers. We've got your butter on top Snow White and your drunk classic, The Three Musketeers, 1993. Let's go. Welcome back to your bosses, brothers, grandmother's aunt's favorite movie podcast, Popcorn and Beers, where some use tomatoes and others use thumbs. We use the stuff that shook up, gets you drunk. Wow, that was more shook up than Elvis when he was all shook up. All right. Thank you, Jordan. I love a courtesy laugh. Topo Chico. You like the ones that like have like the Waterloo, Topo Chico. This is a Beaverton Gamma American Pale Ale. So I'll be drinking the Beaver while we do this. So let's kick this off. Josh, you were not able to get to the theaters to see this week's Butter on Top. You chose to go Disney Plus with your drunk classic. Jordan, let's start with you before I get buried for what I have to say about Snow White.
Yeah, I didn't like Snow White. The casting of Snow White was not great, and I'm not jumping on the whole like conservative Fox News. They went woke, so it's broke, kind of narrative because Snow White wasn't white per se, but it's a fictional character like the Little Mermaid and Santa Claus. Like it doesn't have to be. You could be whatever race you want. Really?
Yeah, you would think that they make like it would be a compromise because the bad guy is Jewish, so maybe it was like a
Spoiler alert:
a wash.
If you're listening to this, if you're listening to this show right now, Jordan just revealed something about a character that may or may not be real. Just know that he does make a list and he checks it twice. So we're not going to stand by what Jordan said. We're just going to let kids that watch so believe what they believe. It went right over Josh's head really here when he's editing.
Yeah. I prefer to believe in a Latino Santa Claus. That's just me. Anyways.
That's fair.
Yeah. There's I felt about this movie that there is no real motive for anything happening in this movie. At all. At all. Like who wants to she wants to be the fairest of them all. What exactly does that mean? And why exactly does that drive the queen, the evil witch queen, right?
Because people will do anything for beautiful people.
What are the dwarves mining for exactly? Like gems, but for what purpose?
Yeah, they're not taking them to market.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing, Josh. You beat me to it. Like, They seriously, you don't see them in the intro of the movie. They just have the gems in the city. Like there's no mention of we go into town. In fact, they say they haven't seen a human in like how long, Jordan? Like 50 years or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of old-timey fairy tales don't translate.
Yeah, there's no the father, the king, Snow White's dad gets sent out. And then there's like this allusion to like, oh, he's out there. I'm gonna find him. Like they're gonna add some extra element of storytelling to this, and then that just never actually like materializes. It's just like, oh, he's gone. Stop worrying about that. It's just.
I'm on the cast list, and someone's character is just actor. And everyone else is like dancer 1, dancer 2, dancer 3, and I was like, there were definitely some characters in this. Like her father speaks. Why is her father not listed as a cast member? Very weird. Anyway, keep going. I apologize.
Yeah, the movie was an hour and 45 minutes long, and I don't know if it suffered from that one way or the other. Like, did it need 15 more minutes, or did it need 15 less minutes on this movie to make it better? Like, either way, it was like, oh, God, I wanted it to be over. The songs that were from the classic animated movie were great. Like the way that they pulled those off, the hi-ho and the whistle while you work and all that stuff, that was fun. But the original songs that they added to this were just like, they felt very forced into parts of the movie. It's too much singing. The CGI dwarves were weird. They're weird.
I thought they were fine. Dopey was great.
I especially didn't like Dopey.
Why?
He just creeped me out. I didn't like the way he looked. He was freaky. He was like, the rest of them were really animated and cutesy, and he was oddly like just weird looking. Like he didn't look like a dwarf. He just looked like a child that the dwarves kidnapped.
Ew.
He had big eyes and big ears. Isn't
Isn't
that the way Dopey looked in the cartoon as well?
I give this a popcorn. I did not like it.
He's popcorn in it.
I mean, it's definitely a popcorn. I'm not going to steer away from that. Rachel Ziegler, again, same with Jordan, has nothing to do with ethnicity. It was just a poor casting. Gail Gadot, poor casting. Andrew Burnap, poor casting. Like, also, why is the prince going to be a thief in the woods? Because anyone can be a prince now, too. Like, if anyone can be a princess, anyone can be a prince. Like, that's stupid. He's just some guy that's an actor. Yeah. So that part of the story didn't make sense to me. Also, where did he learn to fight like a champ, taking on like 3 or 4 people? He's a freaking actor! Anyway, it didn't make any sense on that end of things. But overall, it wasn't a terrible movie to me. It was just terribly miscast. There's a scene, and you'll see it, where Ziegler is asked to act as though she is being harmed, scared, and maybe killed, and she has to ask why, and the face doesn't change throughout the dialogue, throughout the action scene. Like, nothing happens. It's just, she's like doing her best impression of Kirsten Stewart, like the whole scene, where there's no facial expression. It's just frozen, and there's one face, right? Even why? Change the face. Change the face. Do something with the face. Direct her. Someone direct. Yeah, because it was awful, and I was so distracted by that scene. Also, we don't need cutback on the stabbing scene. We get it. And the more you cut back, the worse the scene got. Like, you cut back 3 times to her for literally no reason. Let the huntsman talk for a little bit. We don't need to see her face while he's talking. It was dumb. Yeah. Now, songs were great. Jordan was right. Movie wasn't bad. Like, I'm not going to sit here and get on the hate train. The movie wasn't bad. They needed to do a better job with direction. They needed to do a better job with casting, and then it would have been a hit. If it was a full animated film, if they just went full animated, it probably would have been a better movie. And that's just me being honest. And they could have kept a lot of the themes they kept, but because it was not a full animated movie, because you went live action with a lot of things didn't work. The creatures, the forest creatures, they didn't work because it wasn't full animated. If it was full animated, it would have worked. You messed it up there. You took a strike almost every step of the way when you had a chance to hit a home run. You failed. This IP is great. What? It's withstood the test of time, and you messed it up. Go ahead, Josh.
I mean, the original Snow White is still a very good piece of work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can just watch that one. It's very good. It's not like of its time. It's like peak technology and animation, but it's also still a great cartoon that still holds up. Just watch that.
Yeah.
It gets the job done. Also, I'm not with all the Gail Gadot hate. Poor Gail Gadot. People forget she's been around 20 years now. She's been around 2 decades. Like, stop bashing her. What has she made? Like, she's made some really good movies. She's done comedy. She's done drama. She's done action. Yeah, Wonder Woman 1984 sucked, but Wonder Woman 1 was really, really, really good. Okay? So
besides the ending, yeah, it was great.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. Him being the villain and the god of war was not fantastic. But outside of that, they did a good movie. And there's only so much you can do because DC villains are goofy as shit. Just fucking deal with that.
That's just DC,
Sorry, they're goofy. If you read they're goofy villains. But we're going to give this one a popcorn, and we're going to jump right into another Disney film. I don't know if Josh did this on purpose or on accident, but the Three Musketeers, 1993's Charlie Sheen's.
Yeah, I wish I could claim credit for this, but no, totally accident. Three Musketeers has been on my, like, almost gonna pick it this week list, and it just finally made it in. This is one of those, just like Iron Will or Speed, that it was just always in the VCR when I was a kid. Mm-hmm. When I was 10 or so, 7 to 10, something like that, I watched this constantly. constantly. They were the cool kids. I wanted a sword. I had a sword. I made one. I was always swinging a sword around. I was doing the tricks, like, look out behind you, all that stuff. I loved all this. I even said windbag a lot when I was a kid because of this movie.
Well, Porthos was obviously the inspiration for Josh's action personality. That's what I learned. When Josh jumps into action, he is Porthos.
I gotta say, though, watching this, I haven't seen it since I was a wee lad, so, like, boy, oh boy, this is dripping with corny butter, dude. Like, golly, what a corny movie, man. The fight scenes were fun, but like that's not how you.
Their hand. Did you notice that, Josh? It's like they took the choreography so seriously they would not move this arm. Like it was tucked up the whole scene. Like it. But they had this going. But no. I'm interested to hear what Josh has to say about that when he returns. Overall, I agree with him. It was corny. There was a lot to not like, but then you have to remember, 1993. That is, golly, 3 decades ago now? Over 3 decades ago? For a movie to come out like this and be able to do what it was able to do in terms of be entertaining, because I was entertained by the Three Musketeers. There were parts where I could not look away. Chris O'Donnell, in that first fight scene, Jordan, when he's having to... fight off the guy that wants to avenge his sister. That guy was at least 45 years old, right?
Yeah.
Like, I was looking at this guy. I was like, they need to do some neck makeup on him because he's at least 45 years old. There's no way he is a second under the age of 45. But I did enjoy it. Charlie Sheen was fun. Kiefer was good. Oliver Platt was good. Chris O'Donnell was just Chris O'Donnell, but outside of that, it was a good movie, and I was thoroughly entertained. What did you think?
I like Tim Cook as the bad guy. Kind of in anything. Tim Curry, sorry, Tim, not the Cook. Apple iPhone guy. Yeah. Who, arguably is a bad guy in everything he does as well. Tim Curry. I love Tim Curry as a bad guy in just about any bad guy role, Rocky Picture, what else
Rocky
does he
Horror
play?
Picture Show?
Yeah. What else does he play the bad guy in? Home Alone, yeah. Like, Tim Curry's bad guy persona is just horny. Like, that's his motivation in anything. It's just horny guy. Like,
just play it really, really, really horny. Yeah, you're right, Josh. Every single chance they got, they zoomed in on him staring at a pair of tits. They're like, all right, Tim, stare at the tits. And Tim would go, we're on titties.
Yeah. It's very corny. Everybody has terrible hair. I love that. The fight scenes, the choreography. It was all really fun. It was all really entertaining. It was very Disney. Obviously, it was a Disney movie, but it's like it didn't feel like a Disney movie. It felt like it was kind of universal. Like it didn't have, it was just entertaining for all. It aged very well. I give it a popcorn and one.
Popcorn and one.
And Josh, you cut out right as you were saying how goofy it was, and I was imitating the one-armed choreography.
Yeah. Sorry, internet dropped out for some reason. But yes, going to the choreography. Yeah, the choreography's fun. It's classic Hollywood sword fighting. Do you notice how many times there was this swipe at the feet and the guy backflipped over it? Like, that happened 3 times. Like, I got this great move. Let's put it in. We already did that. No, do it again. And by the way, that's not how you use a rapier. That's the sword they were using. Like, why are we slashing with a rapier? That's not how you use that sword. But anyway, doesn't matter. It was fun. And like you said, it kind of aged well. I can't really particularly find anything that's like wrong with the movie. You know what I mean? It's not like a masterpiece by any means. It's corny as hell, but like, there's no like big notes I would give it. Like, it's just a corny movie from the 90s. And I would say that perhaps maybe it sort of set the table for Pirates of the Caribbean. What do you think about that?
Sure.
The hair. For sure. Definitely the hair.
Well, just the adventure, the characters, that like the really colorful characters. Oliver Platt with just gadgets for no reason. Like, now I have this gadget. And he's acting like he just got it, like Batman. But did you not know that was in your belt? I don't understand.
That's Porthos, by the way. Oliver Platt played Porthos.
I don't know. It was fun to watch. Definitely nostalgia trip for me. I give it a popcorn and 1. Yeah, I guess.
Pop and 1. The church is the villain again. Tax the churches. They shouldn't have such influence, and they're able to do it because they have so much money. Could you imagine if we tax them their proper due? They would not be able to influence things like elections. Wait, they didn't do that. Maybe they did. Who knows? Anyway, this is definitely a popcorn and 1 movie. Like I was saying to Jordan, it was good. It was thoroughly entertaining, and I'm going to give it a popcorn and 1. I did not mind watching this again. And yes, I wish I was kidding, but Porthos absolutely reminds me of Josh in so many different ways. He calls it Batman. I don't. I call it Josh. Like, Josh is sexy Oliver Platt. That's what's going on there. Because that was sexy Oliver Platt, and Josh is sexy Oliver Platt.
I'll take it, man. I'll take it.
All the way to the dancing, right? A lively tune has started, and I'm inspired to dance. That's Josh. If you've ever met Josh, that's Josh.
I think you'll agree that I don't know how to winch.
That's true. That's fair. That is fair. But neither does he, really. What was his technique? To just kiss them. That was just his technique. You can't do that in 2025, Josh. But he didn't really know how to do it either, right? Charlie Sheen, though, that man had game for days and days and days and days. Charlie Sheen had game with every single person that he ran into, and I'm sure that was his life in the 80s and 90s in real life. I'm pretty certain that was like shot for shot what he was really living.
Yeah.
Minus the poetry, yeah.
Maybe not. We don't know how he was raised. Yeah, I mean, he's Martin Sheen's kid, but before all the drugs, who knows? Maybe he was a poet.
Oh no, there's drugs in the house. We're all gonna die. All right, let's move on.
So, Josh, we kind of have another butter on top, and I'd love to go over it before anything happens with you and you have to get out of here. So I want to hit you up first, because I also finished Severance Season 2, and we're getting ready to go into Season 3.
Severance Season 2. It's pretty much the same review as I had in the first season. It's incredible camera work. It's incredible acting. Mr. Milchick, though, is MVP this year. Yeah. I just can't get over. I loved how this season they do a lot of like zooming in on one character. So like Mr. Milchick gets his own episode. What's her face? Patricia Arquette gets her own episode, which was wildly strange.
But and the shortest episode of the season.
Well, you couldn't take a lot more of that, could you? But it was incredible world building, and then the episode with Gemma was horrifying for me.
Yeah.
Like when I found out, like I guess like 3/4 of the way through the episode, I realized what's happening to her. Holy crap. And then in the ending, when you realize who's doing that to her inadvertently, holy crap. Mr. Milchick in the ending with the marching band, dog. Holy crap.
Getting it.
Oh. Man. Man, oh man. I mean, this was absolutely beautiful. This was like cinematography just to show you how dope cinematography is. And it's got Ben Stiller's stamp on it because you can tell there's so many scenes that aren't necessarily funny, but the way that they're played, it's hilarious. Like, it's not a spoiler, but when Mr. Milchick just like sprints out of that room, you know what I'm talking about? That was so funny.
That made me laugh. I rewound that scene multiple times.
It wasn't even a joke. It's just like, what? Oh man! And I mean, there's just so many little bits like that. The animatronics, it's Ben Stiller's footprint, like at its height. The only thing that even comes close is Tropic Thunder, but like this is art. This is high art, and I can't wait for the next, hopefully 3 seasons. I guess that's what they said it's going to end up being. This is incredible. Popcorn and 3. This is one of the greatest shows I've ever seen.
Yeah, and at the end of season 2, what a twist! And then you had another, what a twist! You had multiple twists at the end of this season. Yeah. There is something that's yelled, and I don't think this is a spoiler, because I think we're all curious about what's going on. Stop, you'll kill them all. Wait, what? Yeah. Who's them all? Who's getting killed?
Who's them all?
Them? What is happening?
And shout out to Brienne of Tarth. He has to fight another giant man, just like she did in Game of Thrones. And I'm sorry. I wanted to point out, I don't know if you caught this, like, the baby crib part, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was to see if there was actual full separation, right? You follow that part?
Yeah.
To see if she would react.
Yeah.
But I think, like, undertone, I think what's-her-face, Patricia Arquette's character orchestrated it so that an even greater test would happen with Mark. Because he doesn't have a baby crib, he has her. And he walks away from her. That was the real baby crib test. You know what I mean? I think she's playing chess. I think she's playing 4D chess.
That really sucked. And that's kind of a spoiler, by the way, everyone. The last part of what was just said. Put this back and then say fast forward 15 seconds if you don't want to hear Josh accidentally drop a pretty serious spoiler.
I'll throw up a little.
Yeah, this pops out anyway. This does come out. The episode came out on Friday. This comes out 5 days later. So I think we're past the spoiler rule on a show that people watch as appointment television, because Severance really was appointment television. I was trying to get a full cast list, but it's not coming up for me for this show for some reason. It's giving me it in descending order, which is harder to read. It was fantastic. I agree with Josh on Milchek. Milchek was fun. Also, the fellowship, young lady that was part of the fellowship, and in order to indoctrinate herself into what's his face? What's the guy's name? I want to say it's not Kant.
Kier?
It's because what's that? Kier. Yeah, thank you. She has to crush her favorite object, which is a little ring toss game. That was intense. And Milchek, man, behind her again. And I love who Brianna of Tarth fights. I love his voice. I love his voice is one of the best voices in all of television. His voice is like eerie. It gives you shivers. Like it's like when you hear Scar talk for the first time. And it's shivers, the whole time. Overall, Josh is right. The ending left me stunned. I was like, no, we fought for this. We've been
because where are they going? Where are they going?
Yeah. Where are they going? Also,
where are you running to?
Also, is she severed or not? We don't know. We don't know. Like, is she playing him still?
Is Christopher Walken severed? What do you think about that? Was he severed the whole time? I don't know.
Or is he the killer? Right? That's discussed in his episode. Is he a killer? Is he a hitman? And he kind of jokes about it, but then I was like, is this a joke or is he a hitman? Like, is he looking for people on the outside that know what's going on? It's a huge world. It is a popcorn in 3, and I loved it. I can't wait for the next season. Don't make us wait. Don't make us wait 3 years again. Ben Stiller. All right, Jordan, what were you watching?
I watched a stand-up comedy special, Bill Burr, Dropdead Years on Hulu. I love me a Bill Burr comedy special. And I gotta say, this isn't his best. His last one, the Red Rocks special that he put on, I loved that. That was timeless. There's so many jokes that are still funny, that age well. This one I feel like is not gonna stand the test. Like, there's not any jokes in there that really stick with you. It also was recorded last year, pre-election, so he's talking a lot about Joe Biden, which was like a bad,
it's like a COVID joke right now.
There's a funny, so it's called Dropdead Years because his whole theme throughout this is that he's in the age range for men where he could just drop dead, and that's a reasonable, diagnosis, whatever, a reason that you're dead.
Yeah. How'd he die? He was almost 60.
He just dropped dead. Once a man reaches past like 70, 75, then if he dies, it's natural causes. But between like 40 and 69, men can just die from just dropping dead. And everybody goes, oh, yeah, all right.
Interesting choice there for the end of that timeline.
Yeah. And he just talks about how women don't die from dropping dead. When was the last time you saw a woman? She's like doing water aerobics or something like that, and she just drops dead. In the pool or something. It's funny, but yeah, the whole special just doesn't age well. I give it a popcorn in 1 because it's still Bill Burr. It's still funny throughout, but none of it really sticks with you.
Okay, it's been hard. I want to see the new Eliza Schlesinger. I want to see hers on Amazon Prime. I want to watch that. That looks pretty funny.
Yeah, I think she is among the better comedians. I wonder why she's wearing a superhero costume, but it looks good on her.
She's
so
a
whatever.
Superhero. She's had 2 kids, never stopped working since she was 23 years old. Tours the entire world. She's on a world tour right now. Let her wear the damn superhero costume.
No, I like her style. I like all of her moves. I think sometimes she leans a little bit heavy on the old witch personality that she does. Like, she does that a lot. We'll see.
All right. Well, I watched what I think was a butter on top a while back that I had not gotten to see. Jordan got to see this one a while back. It's called The Pope's Exorcist, starring Russell Crowe. And what a terrible movie. I've just got to start off there.
Thief of
Russell
cinema.
Crowe plays the exorcist chosen by the Pope. So, I mean, it's in the name, but essentially, like, he cannot be fired. And they try to fire him repeatedly throughout the movie, and they just can't figure out a reason. And then the Pope's like, we have to get you out of all this. I have a case for you in Spain. And he sends him to Spain to work in a house that they've had rumors of something terrible coming from. And I don't think this is a spoiler. This movie came out, I think, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But apparently the demons, the devil was the reason, not like a lead demon was the reason for the Spanish Inquisition, because he possessed the Pope's exorcist during that time period. And in order to get rid of him, they had to literally lock him under this building, under this like villa in Spain, and surround him with like ambulance and holy water and all this other stuff to get rid of him. And this house is built on top of an area that still houses that demon. And in construction, they accidentally let this demon out. It's kind of like that old movie from the 90s, Dolly Dearest, where they break into a tomb and the demon, like, finds its way into a dolly, right? It's kind of like that. Except for in this, it finds its way into a kid and possesses a kid. And Russell Crowe has to do everything he can, except for eat a salad, to get this demon out of this child. And it is trippy. The special effects were much better than the Exorcist Believer that we watched. Remember that one as a butter on top? Special effects were a lot better in this one than they were in that one. And Russell Crowe is still a good actor. Like, he could still get the job done as far as the acting's concerned, as far as the jokes are concerned. But it just wasn't a good movie. It was a very bad movie. And
there's jokes?
I'm gonna give it a popcorn.
Yeah.
Yeah,
tries to be a little tongue-in-cheek, yeah.
He says demons don't like a sense of humor, so make sure that you are sarcastic and joke with the demon. So
yeah.
they feel like you're not taking them seriously as his justification or rationale for that. The next movie I watched was Joyride, starring Ashley Park, Stephanie Sue, Sherry Cola, and Sabrina Wu. This movie I actually wanted to see when it came out, and it was kind of like a small release. It's an Asian comedy, but it was funny. Like, it made me laugh, and it is like grungy humor. So if you're not into grungy humor, you're probably not gonna like it. There is some heartfelt moments, but a lot of it is just like, oh, there's a vagina on the screen. Like, out of nowhere, are they about to, like, hook up with this entire basketball team? Like, it's humor like that, and, like, madness ensues. And you don't see a whole lot besides, like, yes, you do see what I said earlier in the review for, like, 2 seconds, but you don't see a whole lot of that. It's pretty tasteful outside of that. They actually hit the joke home with the verbiage and kind of the subtlety, and I dug that. Outside of that, like, blatantly, okay, subtlety be damned. There's 20 minutes left in this movie. You're seeing a vagina. Right, and that's how that scene happened. But I enjoyed it, and the character Deadeye in this, that she has a monologue that's fantastic about like what it's like to not have friends and be socially awkward, and you kind of get an idea that she's probably like the character's probably autistic in some way, like somewhere on the spectrum. And she plays it so well about how hard it is to make friends when everybody just thinks you're weird or nobody takes the time to understand you. And I thought that scene was really good. And for me, she stole the movie from Ashley Park and Sherry Cola. She really did, because every scene she was in, like every line she delivers made me laugh. And I don't know that it was meant to be that way, but like every line she delivers, I was like, that was funny. Like I cannot be mad at that. Like she's playing poker with the kid, and she's like, "Oh, what kind of poker are you showing him?" She's like, "Oh, I just made some shit up to take his money." Like she has like funny lines throughout. She injures one of the basketball players by challenging him to a K-pop dance-off, which is really funny. Tears his hamstring. It's a better movie than I thought. We're gonna give this one a popcorn and 1. It's available on Netflix. If you like grunge comedy, just kind of sewer comedy, this hits that for you. This hits that note. So I'm gonna go ahead and give this a popcorn and 1, but definitely recommend it. There were a lot more laughs than I was expecting in this. Josh, you're up to bat.
I finished Ted Lasso. That's season 3, y'all. And barbecue sauce, to quote him. Not much to say. It's great. You know, it's great. My only thing is that it had, I don't know about perfect ending, but for the show, they wrapped everything up just right. And they don't need another season, but they just announced another season. So let's make some more money, I guess, right? I don't know.
Yeah. That's what
but everything was wrapped up like all nice and neat. Like they showed every character have a little ending, and everyone gets a piece, and like we all hug and kiss at the end. Like, I love you guys, I love you too, bro. That kind of stuff, and it's just super, super brown sugar sweet. Popcorn and 2 show.
It just makes you feel good. Makes you feel good.
It's good.
Let's go on to
It's a feel good show.
Let's go on to Jordan with a movie that's going to take that feel good away.
Yeah, I watched former Butter on Top, Smile 2. Okay, Smile 2. It's like Trapped, where, it focuses around a singer, a pop singer. And just like Trapped, I believe Fry said this when he reviewed the movie, she has bangers. She has some legitimate bangers. Like, who wrote these songs?
They're on my workout playlist. That's why I remember after I reviewed it, I came on the next week and I was like, yo, Naomi Scott wrote and performed a lot of the songs.
Did she?
She didn't write the full song, but she was co-writing the song and she was performing it. Like, that's actually her.
Wow. Yeah. They're bangers. Her best friend is by far the worst actor in this movie, full of pretty bad actors. She's terrible. The effects at the end, the big payoff at the end of the movie are awful, and otherwise, like, it was fine throughout the movie. That relies heavily on jump scares and all that, but they really went for something here at the end, and it was terrible. This could have been Smile 1. Like, it didn't add anything new besides maybe a little more spectacle. Like, if you watch Smile 2 before Smile 1, you wouldn't be missing anything at all. Mm-hmm. Like, it essentially, I think they could have made Smile 1 could just not exist, is what I'm saying. Just watch this one. It was a bad movie. Yeah, watch this one.
Like half the Saw movies.
Yeah, just watch this one, and it'll be fine. You'll get the experience. It's a cool movie, I guess. It was a fun movie. Popcorn and 1 on this one.
Yeah. But Naomi Scott, hats off, girl. You freaking crushed it.
Killed it.
You were phenomenal in that movie, especially Blood on White Satin. What a banger. What New Brain, Get Out of Town. Those songs are hot. I'm sorry. Why am I apologizing for telling you to go listen to good music? Anyway, I watched Immaculate with Sydney Sweeney, and she's still, she tries her darndest to be a good actress in this, and, God bless her for that. She's trying hard. All in all, it's probably Madam Web style acting, again, from Sydney Sweeney. Not fantastic, and surprise, surprise, we've got a theme of this week, and maybe even going back into last week, with Into the Badland, or the Lost Land. The villain is the church again, and they need to create a Christ figure. And how do they do that? They find some stuff that had Christ's bloods on it, and because it has his blood and bone fragment, they've got some DNA, and wouldn't you know it, a converted biologist became a priest, because he felt like it was his calling to recreate Jesus through genetics, through DNA, right?
Jurassic Park style?
Yeah, Jurassic Park style.
Velocijesus.
And they need the perfect Mary Magdalene to put this baby in, and guess who it is? Sydney Sweeney. And then it takes off from there. That's not a spoiler. They reveal that pretty quickly, that that's what's going on. All in all, it was just a goofy movie. It was silly. Like, the whole... She tries to get out of the parish at one point, and then she just leaves the evidence under her bed. Like, they won't check here under this bed that's a twin to see what I did to escape here. And sure enough, she gets caught immediately. I think how they keep people from walking was kind of cool, though. Let's spoil that for everybody. How do they keep people from running away once everybody finds out what's going on inside this parish? They brand their feet with the Catholic cross. Yeah. I was like, that was pretty cool. Like, that was decent. Overall, the movie's a popcorn. You shouldn't watch it, but you're going to. Have fun with that. Next movie I watched ODESsa on Hulu. It is a Fox Searchlight special starring the young lady from Stranger Things. And let me get you her name really quick. It wasn't a good movie at all. It was not a good movie by any means. It was a terrible movie. And I'm not going to recommend it to you unless you like... You know what rock opera is? Do you guys know what rock opera is?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, superstar.
So this is kind of country rock opera. It's like she's a traveling country singer. Sadie Sink is her name. And it's got Regina Hall in it. Who's decent. It's got Mark Boone Jr., who you know from a lot of different movies. I'm thinking Fast and the Furious Part 2. He is the detective that they put the bucket with the rat inside it on his stomach, and they start like lighting the bucket on fire to get the rat to chew through him. That's who Mark Boone is. So you definitely know who that is. It is her trying to save the world to get another post-apocalyptic adventure, and she can do this because she is the one that they prophesized about. She's the one they predicted would come back and save everyone from the evil Plutanovich, and what he uses to get everybody is their attention. He has captured the whole world's attention, and he maintains their attention, and that's how he has risen to power, with his ability to be so entertaining. And he's stolen the world's plasma, and that's how he's able to shoot out this signal to everywhere that has a town in the world. They get high on him. That's how powerful his ability to grip your attention is you watch the TV show and become stoned. You are so high you cannot move, and you have to go through withdrawals to get him out of your system. Shout out Bow Wow. It is a popcorn movie. I don't know how Fox Searchlight actually produced this. I'm sorry if you watch it. It is great for a 5-year-old boy or girl that just wants to sing country songs and thinks they're going to save the world from YouTube. It's essentially
this is a kids movie? That's the tone of this? It's a children's movie?
It's like a tween. Like a tween. Is who they're going for. I guess. But I think even a tween would be like, yo, are you trying to tell me to stay off TikTok? Like, it really is. The villain is really your attention span as a human and how everyone's fighting for your attention. It is, it's silly. They're going for something. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be like, you should see the art and symbolism in it. It's phenomenal how they just capture everything and how we are so addicted to staring at the screen now. And I'm going to be like, shut up. It was a bad movie. You're being an idiot. All right.
You know what? I think a big part of musicals in general is like, no, don't. Who cares about the story? It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And people who love musicals will say the same thing. Like, that's not important. What you love is this. You know what I mean?
There was one good song in it. I will say that. There is one good song when she's allowed to be happy in this universe, and that gets crushed pretty quickly. That song goes on, you know, like most musicals, for 5 minutes too long. You're like, oh, this is a good song. And then they play it for 15 minutes because they realize they've got a hit on their hands. And then they ruin that hit by playing it for 15 minutes. But there is, one good song in the movie. Sadie Sink was interesting, and I'd love to know if she was actually singing those songs, though. Because whoever was singing those songs was pretty decent.
Cool.
All right, Jordan. You know what time it is.
Yeah.
It's Vader time. No, I'm just kidding. It's your turn to give us our drunk classic this week.
All right. Well, in honor of our not choice for butter on top, the working man coming out, Jason Statham. You know, he's been around for a long time. We all love some Jason Statham. This is an old Jason Statham movie. It is not good, but I like it. It is fun.
Transporter?
No, it is called Death Race with Jason Statham.
Oh,
Yeah.
Death Race.
Death Race is
Okay.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, Death Race isn't bad. I remembered. It's like Twisted Metal almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was
Oh, I
Death
need a
Race
car.
or Road Rash. Yeah.
Give me a call.
So,
It's a race to the death. It's a death race.
yeah, as Jordan mentioned, there's a lot of new bad movies in theaters this week. We don't have Death of a Unicorn here in England. I wish we did. I actually want to see that movie, but it does not come out here this week. So what we're going to go with is something that's fun for the whole family. The Woman in the Yard. We're going for The Woman in the Yard as this week's Butter on Top. It's a quick watch, only an hour and 28 minutes. I wonder if this time the villain wins. Who knows how horror movies work out?
Hey,
As
woman,
always.
get out my yard.
My milkshake brings all the women to the yard.
I was thinking more along the lines, is she making a U-turn in my driveway right now? Is she making a U-turn in my driveway right now?
What the hell are they doing out there? All right.
Let's go ahead and sign off. We will see you at the movies. As always, you get the popcorn, we got the beer.